Classes in session. Hey, what's up guys and gals? So welcome back to another video. So in today's video, what I want to talk about is, I guess, a recent topic about gaming that has been buzzing around online, about games, I guess, in future generations or within even this current generation, maybe will maybe cost about $80 to $100 per game. So I want to give my thoughts on that. Before I get my thoughts on that price point, I want to go back in the past a little bit. So I am a millennial, and when I was growing up, I've been gaming all my life pretty much ever since I was like 4 years old, going back to the Super Nintendo. I'm aging myself right now. I'm telling my how old I am through that. But even when I was about like maybe 13 years old, one of the games I purchased, this game right here, Beyblade V-Force. It's not a super great game compared to games out now, but I really did like this game. I was a really big fan of this series. So even this game right here, I bought it used at a gaming convention for $15. But when I bought it originally as a kid, I paid only like $40 for it. So, you know, that was a pretty good deal. A game on a GameCube, $40. And that was kind of the average price of a game on a GameCube, was like $40 for most, I guess, multi-plat games. And then the first party games, you only pay like $50 for those games. I remember I had Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, paid $50 for it. Had quite a few games on the GameCube. Beautiful Joe, paid $50 for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like $50. That was still kind of a steep price back then. I remember even going back to like the DS era. So Kingdom Hearts Recoded right here. Really like this game back in the day. Played this like well over 13 years ago at this point. I think I only paid like maybe $35 for this game, and I think I bought it brand new if I recall right. And a lot of the Nintendo DS games, I think the most they cost were like $40, but on average you can get them for like $35, and you can get a lot of good gameplay in these games. Like for example, a game I recently bought on Nintendo Switch, the re-release of the Mega Man Battle Network series. So if you were to buy just one of these games on the Game Boy Advance, which was the original console it came out for, you only had to pay about like maybe $20, $30 the most for one of the games. And now you can buy the whole collection for $60. So, you know, that's a good deal. Going on a little tangent there. My point is that games weren't as expensive back then. I know the console, you know, hardwares weren't as expensive to make, and now the technology has advanced a lot more. We have Bluetooth, we have higher frame rates for games, we have more powerful GPUs inside these consoles. But like a problem is that these games are becoming like too freaking expensive, and a lot of the games that are being put out now, they just don't feel like they're worth that price tag. So for example, obviously the first one, Forspoken, I paid full price for this. I paid $70 for this. It's my fault. I should have listened to all the reviews. I personally did like it more than some people did, but it felt like a $40 game. Like if you get this game at $40 or below, you're getting it for a pretty good deal. Another game that a lot of people love, including myself, maybe not so much through the second playthrough, but definitely the first time I played it, Spider-Man 2. So this game is $70. I think even now it's still $70. And it had a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches. I won't say that I need to cook in the oven a little bit more, but like if they spend like a couple more, I guess like another month, just like working out all the bugs or glitches, or maybe even if they do a patch, I still say this game the most is worth like $60. And that's kind of like, I think, the sweet spot of this current generation that games should be. No more than $60. Honestly, I don't want to pay any more than $50. If I could get all my games for really cheap, even under $20, I would do it. That's why I love Steam so much. That's why I love the Steam Deck. Like, I purchased Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, which is probably now one of my favorite games of all time. I think I only paid like $30 for that game. It was on Steam for the longest for like, I think like $40. And well, actually when I first got my Steam Deck, it was on Steam for like $80. And I knew I was definitely not paying $80 for that game, even though I really do enjoy it. And I think it is a good game. But like even a game like that, I'm stamping it as like my favorite game of all time. I already got Rebirth pre-ordered. That's how much I love the game. I just freaking beat the DLC last night, late last night too. Great, fantastic game, loved it. But even that game I feel like should only be about $50. So my thoughts on the the price jump in games, like if games start going up to like being $80 a pop, I might still, I'm a hardcore gamer, but I might still like purchase games, maybe not as much. And for me, I mean, for some of you like really hardcore enthusiasts out there, this may not seem like a lot. It's if you're a really hardcore collector, you're gonna have way more than this. But for me, I will purchase, like, I think for my PS4, the console generation for the PS4, I only purchased like 5 games. I feel like I can't fathom paying like $80 a pop for each of those games. And if they go to like at least $100 per game, I think I might have to either do one of two things. Either just stop gaming altogether just because it's too expensive. I own like 16 PS5 games, as I just showed. I can't imagine like looking at that pile of games and saying like, oh, I paid $1,600 in total for all those games. Or I would have to wait until games go on like a heavily discounted price. And I don't know if you guys been like checking Black Friday a lot lately, like over the past few years, but like you can't really find games for like the real cheap and low, like as they used to be back in the day, where you can get games for like $5, $10. Like, I mean, you can find your $5-10 game here and there, but like they'll be really old. I'm talking about like 5 years old at this point. All the newer games that's coming out, you can't really get them for like $5 or $10 on Black Friday. And I think that's going to be a problem. Like I've been hearing from a lot of people who've posted online about this topic that they might like jump out of the hobby if gaming enters, like if a game costs like $80 to $100 per game. And I think I'm in that boat too. Like I just can't fathom paying that much. So developers like are starting to get too greedy. So for example, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth is coming out next week. And apparently you have to own the premium edition, or you have to like pay extra money for the new game plus mode, which should be in the game regardless. Like it should just be in the game. You shouldn't have to pay extra for a new game plus. So like I feel like developers are starting to become too greedy. A lot of games are coming out feeling half baked. Another prime example of a game I feel like is half baked, Street Fighter. So a game that only had 18 characters for a $70, $60 game. I forgot how much it was. This one or the other. For a fighting game in 2023, when this game came out, it's just not worth it. And I feel like developers are kind of like skimping out on like the content that they're giving us. Like, I'm fine with paying DLC, but my thoughts on it is that DLC should be like something that you should get the full game, the full experience, but DLC should be like that extra, like the little cherry on top. Like if you want that cherry on top, you don't need that cherry, but if you want it, then you get the DLC. So like with the developers like skipping out on like the content, and the fact that like they're considering charging $80 or $100 per game, as was like kind of leaked out in that Sony Insomniac hacking leak thing, I just can't imagine myself paying $80 or $100 per game. So I really hope that's not the trend. Yes, these games have been getting more expensive per console generation. It went from like the 360 era and the GameCube era, and from being like $50-$60 to now this current gen being $7 per game. And now they're, yeah, I don't know, like gaming, like come on guys, like we don't ruin the hobby for us. Like it's a bad economy out there for us. I guess, I don't know, if you got to pay to play. I guess if I truly want to play, I'll probably still get like another console. I can't follow even consoles, like if they start charging like $600 per console, kind of like how the PS3 was way back in the day. I can't see myself like paying $300 for a console, because like now you're talking about like gaming PC rate like prices when you start talking about like 600 plus. Yeah, I mean I paid like $550 for a Steam Deck, but oh my god, like gaming, it started to become a really expensive hobby. And when I look back on like how much I spend on all this stuff, like I just like start thinking to myself, like, am I spending too much? So maybe like for me, if the future price of games start costing like $80 to $100, maybe I will only buy games that I truly want, like Wolverine. If that game costs $80, maybe I'll get that. But or like Final Fantasy, whatever, if that comes out, I'll get that for $80. But I'm not going to be buying like every single like exclusive that comes out. Like I'll do as like what my buddies do. We just YouTube it. Just YouTube the whole freaking game and you will feel like you played it vicarious through that YouTuber, whoever uploaded the video. But anyway, I'm going on a little ramble here. That's my thoughts on the matter. Overall, I think like if gaming starts to trend towards like $80, $100 a pop, I'm gonna have to kind of like step out and like find a new hobby because I just can't justify spending that much on a game. But what are you guys' thoughts about the subject matter? If you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to share this video all around the world with your family and friends. Leave a comment down below. I would really like to know what you guys think. Would you pay $80 or $100 for a video game? I really want to know your thoughts. But anyway, that's it for this video. Until next time, I'm out. Class dismissed.